This tutorial is designed to accompany Appendix D using Excel to solve enzyme kinetics problems. I'm working on problem 1. I've completed table 2 and the line list data analysis as well as the percent error analysis, and I've set up my Lineweaver-Burk plot. What I need to do now is to format the plot so it looks like a Lineweaver-Burk plot. So I'll start by formatting the axes. So if I right-click and then choose Format Axes, I can change the minimum and maximum values. I already know that I want to have an x-axis value that's is in negative numbers. So I will change the minimum to minus 0.2 and the maximum to 0.4 since that's my highest point. My major tick marks I will set at 0.1 and 0.02. I think I will leave those there. And for the tick marks, I will have both of those displayed inside. For the number, 2 decimal places is appropriate, so I will leave that there. The next thing I will do is the same thing for the y-axis, and I will leave that at 0 and 0.14. The major tick marks at 0.02. I think I'll change this to 0.005. And again, I will have the tick marks on the inside. The number of decimal places here, 4 is too many. I'm going to change that to 2 and click Add. Also, Excel shows us grid lines, which I prefer not to show, so I click on those and then hit Delete. The next thing that we will need to do is we will need to label our axes. So if we look under Chart Element and Axes Title, Primary Horizontal, and we get a little box that says Axis Title. This is the reciprocal substrate concentration. Which is sphingosine. The units are reciprocal micromolar. So I'll need to format that. I left a little space here so I can select only the minus 1. If I go back to Home and click on Font, I can make that be a superscript, and I can delete that space that I needed to do the selection. And this is micromolar, not millimolar, so I will change the font to symbol so that the M is a Greek letter mu, which means micromolar. I will also need to put a title on my vertical axis. This is the reciprocal velocity, and the units are minutes per milligram. The next thing that you can do, if you like, is you can select the points, and if you select this paint bucket right here and then choose marker, you can choose different things about the points. You can change the color. You can, if you look under marker options, you can change what type they are. Maybe you want one of them to be a square instead of a circle, so you can differentiate between with inhibitor and without inhibitor. So what we will do next is we will add a trend line to both of these lines. So again, if I right-click on this line and click Add Trend Line, Linear is already chosen, and I want to forecast backward because I want the line to intersect at the x-axis. Usually I just type a random number here to see what it will look like. I want to display the equation and the r-squared value on the plot. Sometimes if I've chosen a number that's too big, Excel will change the value of the y-axis and will show negative numbers. So if I go back to Format Axis, then I can change that back to 0 and the maximum back to 0.14, which is where I wanted it. And I can move the value so that it doesn't obstruct the line. And then I'll do the same thing here with the plot with the inhibitor. So again, I'm going to forecast backwards. and display the equation and the r-squared value on the plot. Maybe move that around a little bit. What you should do next is you should look at the displayed equations and ensure that they match your LINES data. If they don't, you'll need to check your work to make sure that you haven't made a mistake in selecting the data. Finally, we should add a legend so that we can distinguish between the data with and without inhibitor. So if I go under Add Chart Element and choose Legend, I like to put my legend on the bottom, and if I do that, it will label without inhibitor and with inhibitor. It does that automatically because I entered those titles when I selected my data. Now I don't really want where it says linear, so I'm just going to select this right here and delete it. And I'll do the same thing here with just select where it says linear, and then you're left with a plot that shows with and without inhibitor. If you want to resize it, looks a little squashed. This looks a little bit better right here. So this is an acceptable Lineweaver-Burk plot. I'm not going to add a title on the plot itself because you will add a caption when you import this into your case study, and captions should be located below the figure as is commonly done in scientific publications.